battle styles has the maximum value to rip technically, right?
Bag plays games, aka Bag.
What is up, baggers? It is time to go into the Sword and Shield era and take a look at the prices of not only the sealed product but some of the singles. Let's stray away from Scarlet and Violet. We know it's pretty hard to get those boxes that are relatively new, but let's take a look at Sword and Shield, a product that has been released and that's been out for a long period of time, and of course some of the singles and top chases from each set. Let's get into it. So let's go ahead and start with, of course, everyone's favorite Sword and Shield era booster box, right? Evolving Skies. Going for 1300 a couple months ago. Now we're seeing it go for 1749 with the most recent sale 1825. So this Sword and Shield era box just continues to keep climbing. Of course, in this set we have a bunch of great hits, including the Moonbryon, Rayquaza, and a bunch of other evolutions. However, that doesn't necessarily translate to the singles. Like, for example, the Moonbryon. Obviously, it's still a very expensive card, but it has been coming down a little bit from some all-time highs, hitting around 1500, 1575, with the most recent sale looking like 1300. Let's take a look at that, actually. So it's been, one went for 1298, and then one went for 1300, so this could be dropping down a little bit, but the lowest listed verified is 1400, so we will have to see how that translates into the future price. Because if we're looking at this chart, right, we can see right here this random dip. It was another, I think that was when the market manipulation have it. You can take a look at one of my other market watches and you can see when I mentioned that. But then it rode back up to 1744. Then we took a little dip right here. Looks like, what was that? Like around 1500. Then we went back up to 17, but when we dropped down, we dropped to an average price right here of 1560. So we're still it's still hitting higher lows. And a card like this is pretty iconic for the Sword and Shield era. I don't think this card is gonna go any lower. Like right now, like this 1300 pickup, is pretty good if that's authentic. If that is authentic, then that's a good pickup right there, because I don't think we're going to see this card go down any cheaper than lowest low. Let's say 1200. I don't think it's going to go back to this right here, like consistent prices, because you can see right now there's one at 1250 unverified. Then after that, it's going back to 14. I would say this is a good time to pick this up if this is a card you've been wanting. Is it possible this card can go down? Yes, but 4 years. This card has been out for 4 years. I can't see much more of the data based on TCG Player, but it was going for around $800 August 2024. So it's like doubled in price since August. I don't think we're going to lose half the price and go down to 800. I just don't think that's possible, especially with the booster boxes being what they are now for this set. I just don't see it happening. Then, of course, you also have the Rayquaza VMAX. I think it's a good card. Personally, my favorite are the Vs in this set, like the Rayquaza V. Look at that beautiful art right here with the trainer, and look at that. What is that? Is it a Whimsicott or something like that? I forgot the name of that one. I'm not gonna lie. If that one came up on Who's That Pokemon for me, I'd fail that one. Sorry guys, I forgot the name. But I remember you always encounter these things in Gen 3 in the cave when you're like, oh, what are you supposed to? Is that where you give the Wingle back? You give the Wingle back to the guy, right? I forgot his name. Dang. But yeah. That's that thing. I hope it's Whimsicott. If it's not, you guys will correct me in the chat, right? But let's look at the price. $105, $120 around June 2024. Now going for $243. Most recent sales $255. So $220. Not a bad price to pick this up, especially since it's just been increasing steadily since January. And again, since it's Evolving Skies, we can expect the price to stay relatively close to this, because it's getting harder and harder to get those boxes, let alone pull these cards. And then of course the Umbreon V. Umbreon V was around almost 300 and it's been dropping steadily. It's 241 market, but it looks like it may be recovering with a $260 sale that just happened. And then the lowest listed verified is 250. Another Sword and Shield era box, we have Lost Origin. The booster box is going for 534 market, with the lowest listed verified being, let's see where it's at, because, you know, people add non-booster boxes on here. So 530. So still around 530 market price. Lost Origin. What are the top chases in Lost Origin? Let's take a look here. Or I guess yeah, the top chases are going to be the Giratina V alternate art, of course, going for 543 market, and then after that it goes down to Aerodactyl V. So $543 for the top chase, because it has been coming down of that top high of $706. It's been dropping a lot for some reason, but the product seems to be increasing steadily still. If we look at the charts, it was going for 380, now it's going back to 532. So yeah, we got the Sword and Shield era just seems to be pumping up a little more. If we take a look at the other ones, like the next top chase is going to be the Aerodactyl V, which is, I mean, it's one of my favorite cards. Like, look at this. This is a beautiful card, Jurassic Park vibes, right? But it's $98 to $140. Still not very much increase. If you're looking at the booster box right here, going for 200 last year, now going for 534. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. The Sword and Shield era is going like that. I mean, it's out of print, right? So you can only expect stuff like this to happen. Now we got the Chilling Reign booster box. So the Chilling Reign booster box was in the 200s as well for a while and hit 300, and boom, massive jump to 441, 419 market though. 419 is the most recent sale. Lowest listed verified is going to be 440. So gonna continue increase in price here. The top chase of Chilling Reign is going to be the Blaziken, going for 373 market. Then after that, what is it going to be? The Snorlax. So obviously you're not buying these boxes to rip and make your money back. You're buying the boxes at this point so you can collect them, right? They're not reprinting this, I don't think, right? Sword and Shield, they can barely print Scarlet Violet, so that explains a lot of the booms on these Sword and Shield era products. Fusion Strike boxes, they're crazy right now. $783. The most recent sale was $794. Lowest listed verified. Where are you? Let's get through all these listings that aren't booster boxes and see what the price is. There's so many. $790. Okay, so around almost $800 for this box already. Of course, the top chase is going to be the Gengar VMAX, if I'm not mistaken. But let's go ahead and look at the list and see if there's any that I forgot. Yeah, so the Gengar VMAX, and we have the Espeon VMAX. So 576, which if we go ahead and look at the chart, it's actually like made a big decrease in price recently. It was going for, I believe, almost 800. 745 around there was what the market was, and then it took a big dip down to 576. Lowest listed verified is going to be 560, then going to 578. So what, someone bought it for 399. Oh, it doesn't show. Okay, well, oh well, there's one right here for 300. What's going on? Some funny business. I'm gonna say around 580 though, because that's around what the sales have been going for. So again, not something you're gonna be ripping, because it's very expensive, and for this one you're definitely not making your money back, even if you do pull this Gengar, right? Then some other ones of the big booms that have come up recently, the Silver Tempest booster box, going for $338. Oh my gosh, this was so like, this has been low for so long, and I just never like went and bought it. The other Sword and Shield era boxes are going for like what, like 5 to 8 range, let's say that. So far, the ones that we looked at, right? And can this set reach that one? Like, the only thing you're getting in Silver Tempest is going to be Lugia V alternate art. And even this is going for 271 right now, when the highest was almost 300. 270 lowest listed though. So I personally love the Lugia. I know a lot of people don't really like it. So I've heard a lot of people say they don't like it, but I think it's a really cool card. I love the sailor right there, like worried about Lugia. I also like how Lugia is kind of dark. It kind of gives me a Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness vibes. I think this is a iconic card as well. I think the Sword and Shield eras have plenty of beautiful alt arts that may overshadow this Lugia V, but I'm a big fan of Lugia, so maybe that's just my bias, but I think it's a great card. I think Silver Tempest has room to grow in comparison to the other sets, because it is relatively low to those, right? But is it going to double like the other ones have? Probably not. Maybe like 5 years, hopefully, but I think we've already got their big jumps right now, so we're just going to have to if you're, I don't know if you're buying this to rip, that's crazy. But if you need this for your sealed collection, I think is a good price for this one. Not every Sword and Shield era booster box is super crazy in price like this, right? If we take a look at the battle styles, this one is still $200. In battle styles, you can't really pull anything besides the Tyranitar, but the Tyranitar is $194 market, and the booster box is only $206. So if we were looking at the other cards, they're worth like hundreds of dollars, but even then you wouldn't be able to make your money back on the product if you opened it. But in this scenario, right, and this is just like the best case scenario, right, I think you're able to pull an Altar and a Secret in these Sword and Shield era boxes, right? So you would have to pull the Tyranitar and the Houndoom, and that's making your money back. And then plus all the V's and stuff. So I guess Battle Styles has the maximum value to rip technically, right? If you're spending $200 a box and you want to rip something, right, that's how much you're gonna spend minimum on any Scarlet Violet era, right? And I mean, I think this one still has some good cards. So like it's Tyranitar and the Empoleon for me. So if you're just trying to rip something, it's not gonna be as fun as opening like 151, right? But if you're just trying to rip, $200 is not a bad price to pick this up and open packs. $200 also isn't even a bad price to like just pick it up and invest if that's something you want to do, right? Because if the other ones are going for 300 to 800 now, there's no reason why this can't catch up to that, especially if the booster boxes that are being printed now are 200 plus, and this is not getting printed anymore. So people just have these for sale. $206.99 is the lowest listed verified. So I would pick these up. Not a bad price to pick these up. And these were lower. These were like in the 130s, and 150 I think is where I saw it most before it rose. So I still think 200 is a good price for this, especially if you just want to rip. Another set going for $200 is Vivid Voltage. Vivid Voltage, I know it's not a lot of people's favorites because I'm pretty sure that Pikachu VMAX Secret Rare gave everyone a lot of trauma back in, what was it, like 2020? I wasn't really in the hobby like to that extent for Pokemon, at least. I was in other card games. So when I heard about the Pikachu VMAX, I knew it was super expensive, and then knowing that it crashed and this and that, right? So I know this might have a lot of trauma, but this Pikachu's still going for $150 market. And for a booster box, it's only going for around 20 bucks. That's not, I mean, 20 bucks. Imagine. And for a booster box, it's only going for like $200. Lowest listed verified is 206. I think that's worth picking up to open, especially, or even if you're just trying to invest in that. And again, if we take a look at these other booster boxes, they're in the 400 range. Same era, Sword and Shield era, right? 413. This one was what, 430, around there. So there are a couple options in the Sword and Shield era that you could pick up that might not be bad pickups right now. Again, you know, I say it all the time, not financial advice, but those are just my opinions on this situation. I know product is a touchy subject. That's why I didn't really want to touch on the Scarlet Violet era right now, but we have Black and White coming out, so we have stuff to look forward to. We'll cover more of that in another video. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Shout out Argomithia, shout out Nexus, shout out Lurkana Goons for being a member of the channel. And if you want to join the channel, go ahead and click the join channel button down there. It's only $4.99 a month. It really helps with the channel. Appreciate you guys. Go ahead and like the video if you liked it already. Comment something and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.